Hey y'all, it is Chris with Rockin Farm. You know, it's funny, sometimes you don't really know where a video is gonna go until you get done shooting it. So this week what we did is we just set up the camera a whole bunch and we just let her run. And the end result of all that letting the camera run kind of ended up being another version or another session of building a homestead on a budget. So what we want to talk about a lot while we're working our way through this video is removing the excuses of why you can't homestead, why you can't have a farm. That's kind of what this whole, and it is kind of becoming a little bit of a series, this building a homestead on a budget series. It really is about removing the excuses. You know, just about anybody can do this. There's a lot of different ways to do it. Maybe what you got to do, if you decide this is something you really want, someday I want 10 acres with a house, but I just don't have the money and I just don't blah, 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 blah. Well, maybe you start out with finding a half acre with a rundown house that you fix up and improve the half acre, and then you sell that after about 2 years, and then you are able to buy 3 acres with a house that's kind of run down, and you fix that up and improve that over 2 or 3 years. You can get where you want to get eventually, and that's kind of my point. Remove the excuses and get where you want to be. Today, I think what we're going to talk about is don't be afraid to work hard. Sitting on your butt on the couch wishing you had a homestead is not ever going to get you there. And don't be afraid to ask. The worst somebody can say is no. So let's get started and take a look at what we've been doing for the last week. All right, hey y'all, so this is just one more little piece of our week so far. More chainsaw work, mostly because it's just really convenient for me to get the chainsaw out right now. But it's also some wedding beautification work. I told you that over here on the garden area, the nice part about the garden area is even if I don't get a chance to expand the gardens, which would be miserable for both me and my wife, but even if I don't get a chance to expand the gardens, I'm making that area so much prettier for my daughter's wedding. So the area that we're going to be working on today is over here, and it's another one of those pretty decent looking tree in the middle of a tangled, gnarled mess situations, and it is in the direct view of my daughter's wedding tree. So let's just get to work. Hey y'all, so obviously you saw that halfway through that footage it became a new day. We lost our light last night. Today it's a little windy, so hopefully the sound quality is okay. Got to change my angle here to kind of give you the before and after shot, but I'll drop the before shot in right here. And now we'll take a good look at the after. So obviously much cleaner, and before anybody, you know, I mean, I'm a big proponent of if you take down a tree, you plant a tree. Well, we're going to plant a lot of trees on this property, and there was nothing in there that was of any value whatsoever. Once we get this massive burn pile taken care of, it's going to look much better, much cleaner, and be much nicer looking, especially if we do get a few more fruit trees in. Now this big tree here gave us a little bit of a surprise, and this is part of the reason that us coming in here and cleaning this stuff out is a good thing, because I had no idea that this was going on with this big tree. So as you can see, there are places where you can literally see right through it. So this tree, we were told, was hit by lightning, and I think that's what we've got going on. Taking a tree like this down, this size, with that big of a hole and that much rot, is well beyond my skills and abilities. It's not something I'm going to attempt. Not going to put my life at risk to get rid of this tree. So I'm probably just going to put a shout out to some of the locals around here and see if anybody is interested in coming and taking down this massive tree. So I know I'm not the only one that just does this, but just those dumb moments, like where you get done with a project and then you go, crap, I should have filmed that. So my wife and myself and my 2 kids that still live at home, my little guy, we all went off to a neighbor's property. And when I say neighbor, by Texas standards, if you're within 100 miles, you're neighbors. I don't know if you people in the other areas of the country are aware of that or not. But if you're within 100 miles of somebody, they're your neighbor. 200 miles is just down the road. That's the way we measure here in Texas. So we went into town, and there's some people that live, probably about 15 minutes away. And what they had was they had a ton of pallets. We'd already been there once. Everything you can see behind me is what we picked up from them last time, what we were able to fit in the trailer. And we went back to get the rest of the pallets today. It actually turned out really cool because so when we're talking about building a farm on a budget, these pallets, a lot of people are really freaked out by pallets. Pallets are, generally speaking, very safe. They're usually made out of either pine or quite often oak, so they're good wood. And unless they were used to store some sort of a chemical, generally speaking, you really don't have to worry about them. Like you can look at the stamps to see what they were treated with, and you look at the condition for stains like oil and gas and chemical stains. If you don't see any of that, then you cut them up and you turn them into garden beds. So these are fixing to be my next piece of the garden expansion over there, all new garden beds. So we went back and got the rest of the pallets today, and then here's the deal, y'all, it never hurts to ask. So I threw up on like Facebook, one of my local Facebook pages, anybody have some pallets they want to get rid of? This lady was like, oh dear Lord, please, because they've been getting hay and feed and stuff like that on these pallets for years, and they just accumulated. So I went and got all these pallets out of there, and then I just said, do y'all have anything else you need me to haul off? They took me up in the loft of the barn and basically said, you can have it all. So I went up there, and there was a bunch of lumber up there, and there was a bunch of like gate material that can probably be repaired. And then there was just a lot of what I would probably call scrap metal. But my thing is, I'll clear that thing out of there for them and be a good neighbor. Take all the lumber, use it to make garden boxes. Take all the metal, use it wherever I can use it on the farm, and anything I can't use on the farm, I'll take down to the scrap center and get paid for it. Get a few bucks to go buy another bag of feed or something. So don't be afraid to ask, because those opportunities arise. So behind me was our haul from last weekend, and this is our haul from today. It's another 40 or so pallets, and I've probably got about 70 sitting there. So yeah, I mean, I've pretty much got the materials I need to build another 10 or 12 garden boxes. Yeah, I mean, just don't be afraid to ask and do what you got to do to build that farm on that budget. And I'm really bummed out that I didn't set up the camera to see my wife and kids pitching in to help on the farm, but oh well, it happens. And as we lose our light, this is where we're going to end this vlog right here, standing in front of this glorious pile of wood chips. I am standing in front of about 50 yards, let's call it, of premium wood chips that were delivered by people who are working for the power company cutting trees off the power lines. I asked about 12 times, and I finally got them to stop by and just drop off all 3 loads from all 3 trucks that are working the area today. And I told them to just keep on coming back. They can stop here just as many times as they want to stop here. Y'all know I use wood chips for so many things. And if I had gotten these wood chips myself from the place that I go to buy wood chips, it would have taken 10 trips in my trailer and cost me about $350-400. So y'all, $400 in free wood chips that I didn't have to go get because I wasn't afraid to ask. So y'all, no excuses. You want a homestead, go build it. You got to work hard, you got to do the research, and you can't be afraid to ask. And until I see you next time, be happy and live healthy.